Hello everyone, welcome back to the CoachCom podcast. So, episode 40. Anyone that's watching will again notice that I'm on the road, and this is getting done in the Starbucks car park at Belmont, where I spend about half my life at the minute. Half my life is in here, the other half is at Ultraflex. So, quite the way to be on. 26 days out today from competing. And we'll get into a little bit of a prep update and then hopefully drop into a couple of other bits as well. So again, this is, I don't miss a Monday of the podcast, and this is one of them where it is Monday and an episode needs to be done. So this is a good way as well of documenting the journey, because I know I was doing them little updates on YouTube anyway, but now I think it's good to just kind of drop them in just for the podcast just at the moment, because in fairness with prep, there's not much else to document. Like it's literally the same stuff every week. Like life is pretty boring. On the mental side, I'm absolutely fine. But in terms of bandwidth, tolerance, energy, things like that, it's just not there. The energy's there for the steps to train, cardio, getting me work done that I need to. So obviously seeing clients, posting content, everything like that. But in terms of extra things, it's just not. So even with sort of meeting up with people, things like that, it's not really something I'm doing at the moment. I was talking to Anth Bales at Ultraflex, I'm sure he wouldn't mind saying, and he just said you're in the last phase now where you need to be a cyborg. And what that means is, because when I first started, I was a bit like, cyborg, what? But really the bit behind that is, it's just the mindset of let no one take this away from you. So what I'm doing, what I'm working towards, and at the same time, don't add in any other extra stress that you don't need. So that is where I'm at the moment. And it's not, I don't think it's a very nice thing to do to a point, but I need to protect prep. I need to protect my goals. I need to prioritize myself, which is something that therapy did for me a little bit, but bodybuilding has absolutely reinforced that to the nth degree. So, full prep update. So the scale is actually up 10 pounds over the last few days. With that, a few high carb days have gone in. Just in terms of replenishing glycogen, energy, ultimately what has happened is I've had three high carb days, so 300 grams, 400 grams, 500 grams of carbs, all Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All I've done is gotten bigger. No sort of body fat or anything like that has been affected. I've just filled out, and that is a very, very good look to have at the moment. So it's essentially, what that means in simple terms is practicing for peak week, or for me, the peak weeks, with a run up to every show. So it just means that basically I know exactly what I'm eating, I know exactly how I'm going to look, how I'm going to respond, and everything will be absolutely grand on that front. So the lowest weight last week was 79.9 kilos. As of this morning, I was 85.8, so about 11-12 pound in fairness has probably gone on. So on paper it's gone up, but without the context behind it, with the context behind it, it does make complete sense. And the look's improved, condition's been kind of the best it's been. So yeah, this is something where you do get to a point of being lean that you can kind of chuck these days in and they work in your favour. So for all it is high carb and you're getting sort of the extra food and the energy, and it almost feels like cheating on your diet in some ways, it is, you have kind of earned it in a way. So some days on the mental front, like it's just ups and downs during the day sometimes. And this morning, very, like, despite the high carbs, like I was quite flat, had a bad head, and it's 2:30 now, and I'm just able to keep going probably for the rest of the day, really. All my cardio's been done, steps have been done. Something I'm going to add in as well is, I'm not sure if he watches these, but one of my clients, Paul Daly, gifted me a Garmin Epix 2, I believe it is, which was very kind of him. And I must say, so something I knew nothing about and still know very little about is smartwatches, but having done a little bit of digging into them, and obviously playing about with this, I have realised that these watches are unbelievable. So I had a Samsung one, and with that I was pretty much able to just track my steps, add my activity, and that was it. But the amount of data I'm getting off this is unbelievable. Like, so anyone that is a bit unsure about smartwatches, getting different things, that kind of stuff, like, go and get one. They're actually unbelievable. Garmin, from what I'm gathering with this. So thank you to Paul. Yeah, go and get yourself a smartwatch if you haven't already, particularly a Garmin, as the data is unbelievable on them, what you get. So I think that's a key thing for me, even though it reckons my body battery is about 30 today. But that's, I'm sure, the more I use it, more data I get, the better it'll be. My arm is getting tired. I really need to get another holder for this thing. Anyway, so prep is just essentially repetition, and it is monotonous. So that is just why I've tried to keep it as brief as I can to this. And something I'll say about this is what can actually kill most fat loss phases for people. So I've been through it myself, where maybe you're just doing the same thing, maybe you're unsure if your body's changing, that kind of thing. And in reality, there's something that is worth implementing, which is the 10-day rule. So if you say your body weight stalled for 10 days, then make a change. If you've ticked every box, then make a change. So maybe you'd up your cardio, you change your steps, maybe change your food sources, things like that. Actually give it some time to settle. And often we think in fat loss that, oh, we've waited ages and the scale hasn't moved, and you start maybe panicking after sort of maybe 3-4 days, things like that. And I've done that before. And the key is just don't panic. Let your system adjust and catch up almost. The other thing is, as well, is sometimes it's the discomfort that you might feel that might give you an idea of wanting to change the plan. There have been times in prep where, don't get us wrong, I have felt a little bit of discomfort. I've felt hungry, tired, and it is just part of the game. It is just part of it. And the thing is, if you're tired and you're in a deficit fat loss phase, then that is a good thing, because sometimes your brain will want to make changes as well before you actually need them. So for me, it's maybe been a thing of, oh, maybe I need more carbs, maybe my train's too much, maybe my steps have been too much. And you just have to trust that it isn't, and it's very easy to chop and change plans, move things around. I've done that. I've been guilty of that. I've had conversations with clients before where they maybe said, oh, can we do this, and this? It's like, you haven't done that, and that first, Sometimes with plans as well, yes, they might need change, but 99% of the time, fat loss is very, very simple. And if it does need changing, then again, I would always try and look to give it 10 days. So sometimes the other thing as well, so we've covered making the change after 10 days. Another little rule that's worth kind of implementing is 48 hours. So if you're maybe getting too hungry and thinking, yeah, I need more food, something like that, maybe it's a thing of just saying to yourself, look, I'll give it 48 hours and then see how I feel. Because even me earlier today, I was struggling a little bit with the hunger side of things, and I thought, I've got my next meal to eat. And then it was just like, well, I'll wait a half an hour and see if I'm still hungry. And top and bottom of it is, I wasn't actually needing that food. It was just, and now I've still got to look forward to. So even just, it sounds daft, but even just like little things like that can be very helpful in fat loss phase. It's almost like playing a bit of a game in yourself, and it can be very valuable with that decision. And 90% of the time, the urge is gone by the time you revisit it. Even just using that as a little gauge is very, very good. It's probably been about the shortest podcast episode I've ever done this, but in fairness, I just want to keep it direct, keep it to the point in terms of where prep is. I did want to give a little update around that, and then just offer a little bit of value around the fat loss side of things. So the episode should be getting a little bit better. Fortunately, next Monday I've got Helmy coming back on, which is going to be great, because I think I've made quite a lot of changes myself since I last spoke to Helmy. So it'll be very nice to catch up with him. I'm really looking forward to that. And I've got Tom Murphy coming back on as well. So we should have some very good episodes in the run up to the first show. So yeah, that is kind of that. And then I think probably the episode after that is likely going to be after the first show. So hopefully that'll be a good episode as well. So without further ado, we shall leave this one there. Any comments, drop them in the comments below, if that made any sense. And I shall catch you in the next one. As always, for coaching, reach out on Instagram at Ashton Online Coaching, and I'll see you in the next one.